Have you ever come to a point in life where you felt completely stuck? When every solution seemed to fail, every door looked closed, and it felt like there was no way out? Maybe you've been there, facing a mountain of problems, feeling like there's no strength left, no direction, no hope. You prayed, you cried, and still, it seemed like nothing was changing. But in those moments, when we think everything is over, God often whispers a question to our hearts. What is in your hand? The call of Moses. Let's go back to the story of Moses in the book of Exodus, chapter 4. Moses had once lived in Pharaoh's palace, but now he was a shepherd in the desert, far from Egypt, far from his past, far from everything he thought he would be. He had failed, run away, and spent 40 long years watching sheep. Can you imagine how forgotten he must have felt? A man who once dreamed of helping his people, now hiding in the wilderness. And then one day, he sees a bush burning, but not burning up. God speaks to him from that bush and says, I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt, and I am sending you to bring them out. And Moses, like many of us, says, Lord, who am I that I should go? I'm not good enough. I can't speak well. They won't believe me. Then God asks him one simple question. What is that in your hand? Moses looks down and says, a staff, just a stick, something he used every day to guide sheep, to lean on while walking. God says, throw it on the ground. Moses obeys, and the staff turns into a serpent. Then God says, pick it up again, and it becomes a staff once more. The lesson in the staff. At that moment, God was teaching Moses something powerful, that what seemed ordinary, a simple stick, could become extraordinary in God's hands. That staff would later part the Red Sea. It would bring water from a rock. It would be lifted high in battles. It would become a symbol of divine power. It wasn't about the staff. It was about obedience. It was about using what you already have. And God is still asking that same question to us today. What is in your hand? When we feel empty, sometimes we think we have nothing to offer. We look at others and think, they're more talented, more gifted, more successful. We say, Lord, I don't have enough. I don't have what it takes. But God isn't asking what you don't have. He's asking what you do have. You may not have much, but you have something. You might have a voice, a gift, a heart for people, a kind word, a story to tell you might have time to serve, a hand to help, or faith that's still holding on. And maybe you say, but it's so small. It's just a little thing. That's what Moses thought. That's what the widow thought when she said, I only have a little oil. That's what the boy thought when he said, I only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. But when they gave what they had to God, that little became more than enough, the power of what's already in your hand. God doesn't need much to do a miracle. He just needs your obedience. The staff of Moses, the sling of David, the jawbone in Samson's hand, the jar of oil in the widow's home, the loaves and fish in the boy's lunch. All ordinary things. But once surrendered to God, they became the tools of victory, provision, and transformation. So, what's in your hand today? Maybe it's a gift. Singing, drawing, writing, speaking. Maybe it's a skill. Fixing, organizing, encouraging, teaching. Maybe it's just your willingness to try again. Whatever it is, God can use it. When every door is closed. Sometimes we look around and say, Lord, I've tried everything, I've knocked on every door, and nothing opens. But remember, when Moses stood at the Red Sea, there was no door, no bridge, no boat. The sea was in front. Pharaoh's army was behind the mountains on the sides. No way out. And what did God say? Lift up your staff. The same thing that was in his hand from the beginning. The same simple stick. And when he lifted it, the sea parted. Sometimes we keep waiting for God to send something new. when He's already placed something powerful in our hands. It's not about getting something new, it's about using what's already there, surrendering what's in your hand. But notice this: before God could use the staff, Moses had to throw it down. God said, "Throw it on the ground." That was an act of surrender. Before God can turn your gift, your talent, your ability into a miracle, He needs you to release it, to trust Him with it. When we hold on to our gifts, they stay ordinary. When we surrender them, they become divine instruments. What is in your hand, your time, your dreams, your resources? If you throw it down before God, He will give it back to you transformed, a personal challenge. So I want to ask you today, what is in your hand? Do you have a gift that you've been hiding because you're afraid? Do you have an idea that you've buried because you think it's too small? Do you have a story you haven't told because you think nobody will care? Don't underestimate what God can do with what you already have. It might look simple, it might look small, but when you give it to Him, it can touch lives, open doors, and change your world.